Something extraordinary is happening at the Royal Shakespeare Theatre in Stratford-upon-Avon.
It's nothing much short of a revolution.
It's an iconic site, and we've got a duty and a responsibility to really be as inspirational as we can be. The thing that drives us is to create the best performance space for Shakespeare in the world.
And that's the thinking that lies behind the Royal Shakespeare Company's audacious plan to gut this entire great old building and create a complex which will be a destination in itself, in addition to being the very best place in the world to see the works of the world's greatest dramatist.
A really important first step for all of this for us was really to understand the history of the site. There's been a theatre on the site for over 100 years. It's gone through a whole lifetime of use, alteration, change, but we had to understand all of that.
It's more than just a building. We had to master plan other buildings around the place, the workshops alongside it, the way to get to the other theatre along the street and so on. So it was absolutely not just about one auditorium at all.
But at the heart of the whole project is still William Shakespeare.
Shakespeare is synonymous with Stratford. And it's a thrilling place to go. You know, it's a very magical place to go to Stratford. There is nothing quite like saying I've seen Shakespeare at Stratford. The RSC is where I was first bewitched, I think.
The ghosts will remain in those walls. All the great performances that we all either witnessed in the audience or some of us actually performed on those stages will still be retained in the footprint of the new theatre. I think that's very important. Change is always frightening, but I think it's always invigorating too. In some ways it's big changes, and in some ways it's just developing on organically from what we've learned and what we now want to embrace.
Of course, the old RST building, the furthest member of the audience, 27 metres away from the stage. And now, in this wonderful new thrust RST, we've brought that figure right down to 15 metres, so nearly half as far away as they were. It's those wonderful lessons we've learned from history of the Elizabethan playhouses.
Wow. The core idea of the new theatre is the thrust stage, projecting right out into the audience.
It's the difference between sitting back and watching something and being plopped right into the middle of something. For instance, you think of Henry V. It's a very different thing, Henry being able to go to this person.
Once more unto the breach, dear friends!
Once more, I'll close the wall up with our English dead. They're right here. Who's not going to get excited by that? So suddenly the audience members aren't just sitting like this, watching that. They're doing this and doing that.
This is a democratic space where nobody feels they're being tucked at the back somewhere, because there isn't a back.
There are nearly 700 people who work for the RSC.
And as an ensemble, the RSC depends on many creative people.
These are the types from Midsummer Night's Dream.
That's and Jury.
This is from the wig department.
We have milliners, we have wig makers, we have armourers. We will, in the end, have basically rebuilt every part of the company.
You've got a real chance of building a contingent, optimistic community with the Royal Shakespeare Company. And it will be in a building that's opening itself out to the rest of Stratford, whose front door faces Stratford for the first time ever.
Throughout this great transformation, the RSC will carry on performing in its temporary courtyard theatre. And as always, seeking new audiences.
Had you seen live Shakespeare before?
No, it was the first time I've seen it, so I didn't know what to expect, but I didn't think it'd be that great, but it was really good.
The comedy at the end with the wall?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just thought it was great.
Will you go again?
I'm coming tonight, so...
Growth, development, renewal, it's critical to any art. You cannot stand still. You stagnate if you do.
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The performance is about to begin.
If you love Shakespeare, you want to promote that passion for it, and you want to also hopefully pass it to somebody else. You want to just pass it on, that somebody else should have the joy that you've had.
There is no other writer who has the the worldwide international exposure that Shakespeare has.
To act and monarchs to behold the swelling sea.
Shakespeare is important to the cultural life of the entire planet. This project could not be going ahead without individuals or communities paying for the work itself, making a contribution not just to one theatre organisation in the United Kingdom, but to the appreciation of what the RSC does worldwide.
Brilliant. Love the set, costumes, everything.
The RSC don't like nobody else. They get it.
It was amazing. Absolutely amazing.
It doesn't get better than this.
Really, really good. It was really amazing.
It was breathtaking.
So you come specially from America to see this?
Just for this.
Oh, fantastic.
Oh, and we do it again in a heartbeat.
Really?
Oh, absolutely.